cut short in the dark of the night. Airway block, hearts working overtime. Silent struggle, but the riffs in the rhyme. Sleep disordered breathing, stress on the chest. Pressure rising, heart can't rest. Oxygen drops, alarms in the brain. Cycle repeats, it's a deadly chain. From floor to pause, the rhythm ain't right. Cardiac strain in the shadow of night. Knowledge is power, we break the disguise. Science and stories, we open your eyes. So breathe with the beat, let the truth unfold. Healing begins when the facts are told. This is the soul,
You know that
the mission
snoring
is
sound?
clear.
Ever wonder if it's more than just, well, annoying? Today, we're diving into the pretty fascinating and honestly a little alarming connection between that noise you make at night and the health of your heart. I want you to think about your heart for a second. Seriously, we're talking about a true superhero, right? It works non-stop, 24/7, pumping away to keep you going, never ever taking a day off. It's just an absolutely incredible piece of biological machinery. But you know how it goes, right? Every superhero has a weakness, a kryptonite. And for our heart, it turns out that kryptonite might be something we totally dismiss, something that happens when we're not even aware of it. And that kryptonite? Well, it's got a name. Sleep disordered breathing, or SDB for short. The most obvious sign is snoring, but as we're now learning, it is so much more than just some noisy breathing. It's a sign of a hidden battle that's putting a real, measurable strain on our hero. Okay, so if this is all happening while we're asleep, how in the world are we supposed to know about it? Well, it turns out there's some incredible new tech that lets us, essentially, listen in on our heart and hear what's really going on. It's a mouthful, I know, but it's called ambulatory acoustic cardiography, or ACG. And this isn't some sci-fi gadget. It's a simple, wearable sensor you just wear for 24 hours. And as you go about your day, and especially as you sleep, it's recording everything. The actual sounds of your heart, its electrical signals, even your breathing, the whole picture. And here's the best part. What I think is so cool about this, look how simple it is. You put the sensor on, it does its thing for a day, and then the analysis is automated. This kind of simplicity is a real game changer for screening people for these really complex, hidden problems. All right, so we've got this sensor listening in, but what's it listening for? It's not just static. It's trained to hear these very specific, well, think of them as cries for help coming directly from your heart. So the first clue is the one we already know, snoring. But with this data, it's not just a noise, it's a critical clue. Spending a lot of time snoring suggests the problem is obstructive, meaning your airway is physically getting blocked. And let me tell you, that puts a massive strain on your entire system. And wow, this chart really puts it into perspective. Just look at this. People with a low risk of SDB are snoring about 4% of the time they're asleep. Now look at the probable risk group. That number shoots up to over 12%. That is a huge jump. We're talking almost 3 times as much. That's not just noise, that's data screaming there's a problem. Okay, now for something a little more subtle, a sound you'd never ever hear on your own. It's called the fourth heart sound, or S4. It's this very faint, low sound that happens just before the main lub-dub. And what does it mean? It's the sound of that heroic heart muscle getting stiff, losing its flexibility. It's struggling to relax properly between beats. And again, the data is it's undeniable. In the low-risk group, this S4 sound shows up about 7% of the time. But in the probable SDB group, almost 18%. So the chance of hearing this stiffness sound more than doubles. That's a direct physical link between breathing issues at night and your heart muscle actually changing. All right, the third warning sign is all about speed, or, well, lack of it. It's called electromechanical activation time, or EMAT. The simplest way to think about it is like a lag. Your heart gets the electrical go signal to pump, and EMAT is the delay before the muscle actually does the work. A longer delay means a weaker pump. And I know what you're thinking when you look at these numbers. 94 milliseconds to 99, what's 5 milliseconds? But in the world of cardiology, that is a huge deal. It's a statistically significant delay. It's proof that our hero's punch is getting slower, weaker. It's taking longer to get the job done. Okay, so we know what to listen for. The big question now is, who is most at risk? Let's dig into the profile of who's most vulnerable to this kryptonite.
First off, let's talk about gender. The data is pretty clear. As STDB gets more severe, the group is more and more likely to be male. We're talking 60% in that highest risk category. It's a significant factor.
And no surprise here, age plays a big part too. The average age climbs from around 47 years old in the low-risk group to almost 54 in the probable risk group. It's a clear trend. The risk goes up as we get older.
Okay, but now for the number that really made me sit up and take notice. 66%.
What's that? Get this. A full 2/3, 66% of the people in that highest probable risk group were either overweight or obese. That's a powerful link between body mass index and this whole issue.
So we've gone through all this data, all these warning signs. What's the takeaway? Why does this matter to you? Let's talk about how we can actually protect our inner hero. Look, it really boils down to this. First, snoring might not be harmless. It could be a sign of SDB. Second, SDB is directly linked to real physical strain on your heart, making it stiffer and weaker. But, and this is the important part, we now have easy, non-invasive ways to check for this stuff. And finally, just knowing the risk factors, being male, getting older, having a higher BMI, well, that's... So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Is that sound you hear at night just noise, or is it your inner hero trying to tell you something? It's definitely food for thought.